asking that same question.
That was the biggest question. Is what software are you using? And TC Okur, my guest here today, has definitely made it very apparent that don't ask her what software to use, period, because it's up to you. And that's how you understand which software, which system is going to help you understand your data more. Wine, Women, and Data Wednesday, y'all. We are here. I'm Alert Jackson, the marketing medulla. I have TC Okur with me, and we are both in the game of business. We love what we do, and we love supporting women entrepreneurs. And one thing we were discussing today as part of this series is what software are you using?
Yep.
And does it matter, right?
Mhm.
Because your data is apparent on every piece of software. It should be. If you're using software and it doesn't give you any type of data, then throw it away because it's not going to work for you in the long run because you're not going to be able to see what is happening behind the scenes.
Yep.
So I work with entrepreneurs, women entrepreneurs mainly, to make sure you start growing and scale your business without overwhelm, right? Decreasing that burnout, and also to make sure that you're decluttering and clarifying your vision. TC, my partner, my wonderful tech guru over here, she'll explain what she does, and then we'll get into it. Go ahead, TC.
Hey everyone, it's TC, and I work with service providers. I work with nonprofit leaders, and I also work with SaaS. That's the software as a service founders, right? I know every time we talk about SaaS, people be like, "What's that?" And then you just flow with it like you know, but I know you don't know, so I'm just going to tell you it is. It's software as a service, right? Founders, and I literally just help ensure that your backend is simplified, help you streamline your business operations, ensure that you have simplified systems, you have the right structures in place, just so you're not only growing, right, but you're scaling sustainably. You want to make sure that you have the right clarity put in place, so your business doesn't run you, you run your business, right? And today I think we're going deeper today, which is really good. Because like Allegra said before we jumped on this live, it's very important that we're very specific. Because the more specific we are, the better you get the clarity that you need, and we are able to support you as well. So let's dig it.
Yeah, absolutely. I got the Rastafarian look today, TC. Okay,
And
got the
it's
braids
cute.
everywhere. But besides that, guys, I do love this because TC, I was expressing this before we went live today because I really want the audience to understand, right? They can dig deep as possible into their behavior of their systems and their software only when they know where to go, right?
Yep. Hmm.
So some of the biggest things, and I mentioned this earlier, TC, we would do a room back in the day, it was basically how to attract your loyal buyers and keep them. And I remember in that room, y'all, don't laugh with me, okay? Because TC had me cracking up. But she would say, Allegra, or she would yell, like she would even yell it into the room, like, guys, like, what do you mean by what system should I use? What software should I use? People would say, TC, I have a question after like almost a whole master class that TC would give, and they would be like, they're not knocking the question, but just let's talk about it, guys. They would say, so TC, after all the amazing things that you just said, what software do you use so I can use it too? Or what software should I use? And what do you say to that, TC?
Don't ask me about what software you use, okay? Because it's not about what software I use or what software you should use. It's really all about what is applicable, what will get you results, what solution are you trying to solve, right? Those, see, I don't have a problem with those questions, don't get me wrong, but I feel like we get so deep into the confusion the moment we start asking the wrong questions.
Yeah.
And that is one wrong question that I see us always asking, because we find ourselves using what everybody else is using, forgetting that we should use what we need to use to get results for ourselves, right? So I think we should just rephrase that question and then ask it again. Then ask it a different way. Then that way it's easier to give you answers. But no, don't ask me. Don't ask me that.
Yeah, and listen, I was there, so I know how TC responded. She was like, y'all know I'm not going to tell you what software to use. Now tell me what your problem is. Tell me where you need support, and I will guide you so that you can choose a software that's going to fix that, right?
Exactly.
And working with you through that process. Now, I personally I told TC about a situation where I was working with someone and she didn't have any systems and software in place. And we worked through that process. And for about like the fourth session, right after the third session, which is, I guess, the aha moment, the fourth session was like when we finally actually got into the software. So prior to that, it was just talk about the software. It was talk about the system. And so I want to emphasize the reason why we're doing these live streams is to support people who are confused about their software and systems, not to give you one to use. Okay. Because no one can tell you, even as a coach, I can't tell you what software or system to use. I can just guide you, because as the final say, you as the CEO have to decide on what's best for your vision. No one carries that vision but you.
I mean,
So
because there are various factors, right? There are various factors that gets you into that particular software that you eventually use to achieve your goal. So personally, I feel like when somebody comes to me and shows that direct question to me, trying to put me on the spot. You're trying to I then say use this, and they'd be like, is she trying to send me something? No, I'm not trying to send you nothing, right? I'm just trying to get you to use the right tools, because see, what is right for me might not be right for you.
mm-hmm. Yeah. And I think it's wise to only suggest things when you know enough about the person. So
Mm-hmm.
to even give a suggestion, like we were on a clubhouse stage and in the public, or say things, that you're not, unless you're primarily using that software and that's all you're using,
Mm-hmm.
I just wouldn't recommend it, right? This is from a coaching standpoint. CC, you're
Yeah.
right.
Mm-hmm.
I also think, like, for, getting deeper into this, we have to understand that software and systems are two different things. Okay. And we have to know where to apply them.
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
even though you may have your software, right? For those of you who are commenting in the chat, because I work with people that use different software. Like just the other day, like I said, with the session, we were using HoneyBook on our fourth session, and finally at an aha moment where we literally just log into the back of the system and start actually doing work, right? That was after 3 sessions. So it's really apparent how you have to understand that the software itself may be something you have to go learn and run through. So having that process and taking time to understand what is all included in the back of HoneyBook, what is all included in the back of your Wix portal, where for me, I create Wix websites. So we have integrations on the back of those websites, which include all those things that you guys want,
Yep.
like the calendars and the blogs and the social media and all these things that we talk about. We're like, oh, well, I need this now and I need that now, right?
Mm-hmm.
We selected to work with apps and software, TC, to your point, that include a lot of all-in-one or integration. So for me, I decided that, guys. But for you, you have to decide for yourself what software, and then you have to actually know the software, so learn it. And then your system, how you actually maneuver through that process, your step by step, that's gonna show. It's not just the software. The software can be one part of the system. And so that's why I want you guys to know the difference. Because if you're confused about, like, okay, well, I need a strategy where I can actually market this product out here to the world. Well, it's going to take having a software. So yeah, so if you're like, hey, I'm using HoneyBook, or I'm using SaaS, or I'm using there's so many different ones out there, guys. But whatever ones that you're using, now you decide on if that's good for what you need to use it for, right? And then don't be afraid to pick one and test it out, right? So TC, I want
Yeah.
you to comment on this, because you work with systems and software way more than I do.
Mm-hmm.
I do the systems and software on the back end, but on the coaching standpoint, that's where my heart is at, in the marketing side as well. But for you, TC, like when it comes to this software and on the back end, do you think that there's an ideal software that people should start out with, or what I'm saying, or should they just try it out? I think they should just try and see which ones work for them and then stick with what works.
Yeah. Honestly, earlier when you were speaking, I wanted to say that this is not to drag anyone, but even as business owners, first as individuals and business owners, two things that we need to learn, right? Patience and research. So
Mm.
many of us are just too impatient. We just want to That's it. Just tell me this one. Just tell me, and I will do it. And then you say it doesn't work, and then you go here, you zero. It's patience level zero, right? And you don't even want to research. How can you be a business owner or an entrepreneur or an aspiring one? You don't even want to do something as little as research, even if it's a mini research,
Mhm.
right? Now, so many of us are not able to do it. Maybe because we're super busy, I get. But if you
Mhm.
can't do research for yourself, you pay for that research to be done for you. Either way, gets it done.
Yep. Yep.
Either way, gets it done. Okay, so you can't pay somebody to get your patience level at the best balance, but okay, you can find you can find the right structure in place, right, for you to
Mhm.
get your patience level to that optimal point, right? But you get
Mhm.
what I mean. You need those two things as just starting off, right?
Yeah.
And it has nothing to do with, did I just start my business, am I starting now? No, you need it even before you say you want to get started. Now, this is why I say so. You see, when it comes down to tools, personally, there is no one best tool. I have worked with, I am still working. See, aside from the fact that I have worked, I am still working and I'm testing out new products, tools, right? And that's because I'm in a network where we get, oh, you see, every day, you don't have thousands of tools come out for the same thing every single day.
Mhm.
Just because you're not aware of it doesn't mean it's not out.
Oh, there are plenty of people go ChatGPT. I'm like, oh, you talking about that one AI app?
Oh my God, there's so many. And that you don't want to put yourself in a box,
Mhm.
right? Now, if you're starting off, honestly, I would say you want to try it out. Unless I know what happens in your business, unless
Mhm.
I'm aware, unless I've done the audit. See, it would be so wrong, right?
Mhm.
So unethical of me to just come to you upfront and say, use this. Most times it's maybe because I want to sell a particular software to you,
Mhm.
but I don't even know nothing about you. I don't know you, who you are as a business owner, who you are as an individual. I don't know nothing about your business. I don't know nothing about your mission, your vision, your objectives, nothing. And I just come to you and be like, boom, boom, get this because of this benefit. Who do you think I am? You know that part where you say, who do you think you are? Yeah, yeah. Now, who do you think I am? You know, and so honestly, I would say there is no one best tool. The
Yeah,
best tool is the one you're able to test, use, and it starts getting results for you. And that's the best tool for you.
I love that.
Because sometimes some people will come ask me and say, oh, yeah, so TC, what tool do you use? I'm like confused. I don't know where to start. Because do you know how many tools I use? Both the ones I'm
You're like,
testing
for what?
personally. If I start to tell you how many tools I use, do you know how many? There are even times where I want to test a tool, right? Because I'm doing a research for an
Mhm.
organization or something. And so I test it. And for me to
Mhm.
test it, sometimes I need to pay because I want to see what the paid version is. Yes, sometimes I could go
Yeah.
like really in depth, especially depending on what the organization structure looks like, right? And so I will go that
Mhm.
far. Now, in picture, when I use all of these things and you come ask me, what do you want me to tell you? I'm literally going to get you more confused. So,
Mhm.
personally, I would say understand where you are, understand where you're headed. Now, that would give you a better clarification as to what you need to get to your goal, aka your tool.
Mm. I love that. I love how you said do your research first, then decide.
Hmm.
Okay. And truly, because in marketing, that's really much like all we do in the beginning is we research and we find out if this is the right direction. It doesn't have to be perfect. It just has to be right. Like, I mean, we can use that. Okay, cool. Is it going to meet our bottom line? Yeah. Okay. Is it going to raise our overhead? No. Okay, cool. Let's use it. Let's try it out.
Hmm.
And I think you have to be very calculated in that because I see so many people buying tools and buying software and then they go, "Oh, it didn't work out." And then you become
No,
discouraged,
no, no.
right?
But that's why we have the trial period,
Yes.
right? The 14 day, the 7 day, the 10 day. You need to be very intentional. But
Mhm.
the smart thing, right? With I don't know if, yeah, I shared it in one of the sessions that I was in of recent. Now somebody was asking me, right? So TC, how do I take advantage of the period of the trial period? And I
Mm-hmm.
laughed and I said, well, that's a smart question. I don't think I've had so many people ask me that particular question, but
Yeah.
that's right, because you cannot take advantage of what you don't know.
Mm-hmm.
Now, if you really want to take advantage of that 10, 14-day trial, some people would give like 7 day, depending
Mm-hmm.
on what it is, right? Honestly, this is what I'm going to tell you. I would say itemize your goal,
Mm-hmm.
what you want to achieve,
Mm-hmm.
your highlighted pros, your highlighted cons, like what's your no, I cannot take this. Okay, I can manage this. You want to be able to highlight all of this. You want to have, I don't want to use the word key performance indicators, but at this junction, I think I need to use it. You want to be able to figure out what your success factor is. That's what
Mm-hmm.
CSR, your customer or your client success factor, right? Then you figure out what your performance indicators are. What are you looking out for? What's that thing that you would measure and say, okay, this thing is, that's it. That's what I'm looking for, right? Now, when you have those are the basic things you're going to keep looking out for between those 10 and 14 days, so that you already have made your decision by maybe the 8th day or the 10th day, and not wait till the 14th day and you be like, oh, they duped me. They didn't, nobody duped you or took anything, because they gave you the 14 day. After 14 day, the money kicks off. So if you've not made your decision and cancelled, it's on you, not on them.
Man. So it's a matter of being responsible.
Okay, that's the word.
Oh, okay. So I gotta be responsible for my actions. Gotcha. Gotcha.
Mhm,
Okay. And I love this. I love this because intentionality is so key.
mhm,
Um, I'm using real examples, guys, today because we are working with people who already have software but want to really streamline that software and create systems around it. But at the same time, even if you are using your software and you're just like, I've been confused. Like the client I'm working with, she had the software. She had it for years,
can imagine.
years, and never actually moved past it. How many times do we go? And this is the thing: if it doesn't have a free trial that upgrades, that means that you end up just paying for nothing, right? So you're paying, and this is why I love subscription models. I'm sorry, but it is a genius move in marketing. Okay, but
Yeah.
here's the thing: you guys, psychologically speaking, okay, subscription models are made for that. So you have to, as a business owner, be responsible for your business.
Yeah. True.
Intentionally having someone like TC to guide you and say, hey, how you can use this thing is for those 14 days of trial, this is what we're going to do. We're going to do A, B, and C, and it's going to get you to your goal. And then we're going to decide if we want to keep using it or not.
You're not. Mm-hmm.
And I think we have to be very aligned with that because, you know, I told you guys, having a software is not enough. You have to be intentional about using it, like TC said, whether it's using the free trial or using the paid version. And what I find is that when clients come to me a lot of times, they're just wasting the money on the software because they're not ready yet, right? And
Yeah.
then it's always a conversation of, well, I didn't know. And so, some of the questions in coaching, right? Because it's not about me telling anyone what to do. I never tell really anyone what to do. I just confirm. So they're
Mm-hmm.
already saying what they need to do. The question is, well, why hasn't it been done? Right? Let's dig deeper. And majority of the time, it's not because they don't know. It's because of the fear of the unknown.
Mm.
Like I'm going to go in there and then what I'm going to do. And they
True.
feel like they're going to waste their time. They feel like they're not going to get anything done. And they compare it to things and areas in their life that they didn't get it done. And so they compare it and say, oh, it's going to be like that time. And so we want to recondition that mindset too, guys. Just join me on Mindset Monday. I promise you'll feel different. I want us to grasp the notion that you are supposed to try it, test it, then add it to your business model. If you haven't actually implemented what you said you're going to do in a timely fashion, then you are wasting not only your time, but you're wasting time for other people in your business because you can actually start collecting leads and getting to people quicker because you're not wasting your time on your thought process. What is that going to look like when I go back there? What's it going to look like when I do this? Like we literally got into that that third session, and I was like, we got to get into the system, right? The software, guys. Once we got into the software, we set up 2 lead generation forms. We literally did 2 full funnels. Okay, it had 4 emails in the first funnel, 3 emails in the first funnel, 4 in the second. Right? No, 1. I'm sorry, we have 3. Anyway, I'm getting confused. But no more than 4 emails. Okay. Segmented and actually being able to see and guide my client through what the process looks like. If someone was to like TC, you know how it is. Click on the actual, link, and it brings you to whatever it is, subscription, offer, whatever. And I think this is what the aha moment was. And this is why I want to ask you guys, what software are you using? And my next question is going to be, where do you need the support? Because at the end of the day, once she saw the software, once she saw the setup, then it was like, oh my God, what? Right? Because the problem for a lot of us is that we've always been employees, right? Which basically means someone already set the software, they already set the systems up. You just go to work and you operate that system, you operate that software. But when you start your own business, you are at the top of all of that. So literally have to start from nothing, which means that if you don't know nothing, you're not going to do nothing.
That's true.
So I want you to comment on that, TC. I'm going to grab this chicken real quick because I'll put it in the oven. But TC, I want you to comment on that real quick, because I feel like people need to understand that just sorry guys, just like my client now, that for how many years did she say? 2 years. She's been paying for a system. Think about it. If the system is $65 a month, I mean software, if it's $65 a month, how much? Let's add that up. I'm sorry. Let's add it all the way up. $65 a month times 12 months times 2, $1,560, and not one client, not one lead. Honeybook is paid. I need to be in Honeybook, okay? Because they are getting paid. Y'all are paying them. Okay?
It's not their Nah, it's not their fault. It's not. I mean, that's the whole essence of the subscription model. That's the whole essence of the subscription model. I think the question here is, what tool do you use and how do you use it? I love the fact that Allegra was talking about clarity. Clarity on your software, clarity is an essential when it comes down to implementation and getting the results that you desire. Why? Because I mean, you are as good as what you know. You're as good as what you think you know. Right? Because most times we think we know certain things and we think we're fine, or it's something I could always figure out. No, you can't always figure it out, because what you know, what you don't know, you don't know. I mean, you need to understand that clarity, learning, training, they're essential part of even our daily lives, right? So let's move aside business for some time. Even as individuals, the moment, personally, I feel like when I stop learning, I start to question myself, right? Clarity, learning, it's all part of it. It's all part of it, and so sometimes, or rather most times, it's not about the tool you are using as such. It's more about the clarity you have around what you currently have, right? Allegra, how's the chicken doing?
I am gasping, guys, because TC is absolutely right. And I think it's just because of experience, right? Like, we understand we have to wrap our minds around the fact that if we want to be successful, we have to make sure that we bet on ourselves properly. Set yourself up for success.
True.
Okay. And here's what I think also, TC, and I'm just going to say my opinion here, not the fact. I just really think that people are just used to that, just used to just kind of winging it, used to kind of like
Mm-hmm.
just doing stuff and just
Mm-hmm.
hoping things work out, you know. In business, let me make sure this is very clear. It just does not
Mm-hmm.
work like that. Okay, with a hope and a prayer, it just does not. Now, God will step in, but He does that for those who He knows is, following directions.
Let me give you a story. But before I give you a story, I want to say something about the last thing you just said. Even the Bible says He's going to bless the work of your hands, meaning you have to have work on your hands first, right? That's what it means. I mean, literally, that's what it means. Okay, so if the work is not in the hands, I'm not sure what He wants to bless.
Oh,
I
you
mean,
mean like if I say, "Hey, TC, can I hire you?" and you do all the work for me? That's not in my hands. I'm giving you
that's
money.
no. I mean, that's in your hands, and now He can bless it because now you've taken something, you've put it in your hands. So all He needs to do is to bless you using TC. That's it.
There you go. Gotta take action, guys. Go ahead, TC. What's
that,
the
that
story?
that's it. So I wanted to share a story. So there's this client. I wouldn't say she's a client necessarily because like I mean she was, I think it was frustration that made her come back.
Mm-hmm.
So but I just wanted to prove a point,
Mm-hmm.
and that was why I accepted her. But and so that's why I would not technically call her a client. So this is what happened. So she reached out, and so she's like, oh, she's just like everywhere, talking about this, talking about that, talking about so many things all at the same time. And so,
I'm sorry.
honestly, she just everything, just like so scattered. I'm like, okay, I'm, I wouldn't lie to you, but I'm confused.
Yeah.
So if I am this confused, I can imagine how you feel.
Yeah.
And so she's like, well, you're not getting it. I said, okay, you know what? Write it down. Write
Oh,
it down.
you're not. He said you weren't getting
She
it.
said, I'm not getting it. So I said,
Okay.
okay, no problem, write it down. And so she wrote it down. And then she's talking strategy, she's talking business plan, she's talking this, she's talking that, all of the same things. I'm saying, thankfully she wrote this down. So I then wrote out everything she said.
Mm-hmm.
I spaced everything out, and I sent it back to her. I said, this is what you wrote. And so
Mm-hmm.
she's like, oh, I didn't know my thoughts were this unkept. That was what she used. I didn't know my thoughts were this unkept. And in my head I said, thank God I didn't say your thoughts were unkept. You said it yourself. I didn't say anything. And so I said, okay, so what's the next thing? And so she's like, oh, right now all I just need is a funnel.
Mm-hmm.
Hmm. So for everything you said, what you think you need right now is a funnel. And then
So in this scenario, and this is why I think it's so important to talk about
Mhm,
where we are and what system we are using, what software we are using, because a funnel, as we described in our
mhm,
in our Friday No Cap Fridays, is basically like there are fallacies about funnels, right? Like there are actual people that believe that a funnel is a pretty picture of a landing page. A funnel is the actual 5 step. Well, yeah, it's like 5 steps, right? And it really allows you to walk a customer through a journey so that they understand like what they're getting, and the message should be very clear.
mhm,
But sometimes what we do, guys, is we hear someone else say, "Oh, funnel, you got to get a funnel, you got to get a funnel," and then we, but we really are needing a structure. Okay, this is a little different. A funnel is a step, but it comes off of your structure. So I can't create a funnel from an offer where I don't even like. This is something that I've noticed, TC, is that someone will say, "Oh, I need a funnel," but they won't have an actual offer or a price to it. They'll have a
They
pitch.
don't, they don't even know what they want the funnel to do for them.
Yeah. So is it that you need a funnel, or like to your point, TC, and this is why I want people to understand like the
Mhm,
software that we're using.
mhm,
Why are you using it? So that's my next question, guys, is like,
mhm,
why are you using the software you're using? Because it's one thing to use a software. It's
mhm.
another thing to know why.
True.
And if we're looking at clarity around and I see, oh, I see Ali popped in. Hey Ali. I see that we have people, and we have people in a lot of different types of industries. Like just thinking about, because it just popped in my head, because Ali, she has a business, but her business works off of other partner businesses, right? So that means that, and this is why, oh God, this is so deep, guys. Because if you are operating as a independent entrepreneur, right, sole prop business owner, and you're operating in that fashion, not just being a representative of a company. Now, it's one thing to be, a contractor for a company and using their software, their systems, like Arbonne. I used to, sell Arbonne and Avon. Those type of things that I was doing as an independent contractor, it was for my business, but I still had my own CRM for people who I used when I worked with them on other things, right? So, like for example, um, before I had my bartending company, I would literally have a CRM already established for bartending, right? And in essence, when it came down to the other companies I was working with, right? Like I didn't have access to their funnel, but I had access to that information. So I can invite them into another funnel, right? So if I'm working for Avon and Arbonne and I have customers there and I'm doing something else as a brand, unless there's something, and guys, don't get me wrong, because I know some people have these things in their contracts where you cannot
Yeah.
share information. So I'm not telling y'all to just automatically go put their information in your funnel. I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is utilize the opportunity to connect through your own funnel, even if you work with companies that have one, if you are
Mhm.
an entrepreneur. Okay. And one of the things that I've done, because I remember a company I worked with, y'all remember Constant Contact? Still around.
Yeah, it's still around.
Okay. So I worked with a company and they use Constant Contact. Okay. No, nothing in the contract said that I can't use the customer's information.
Uh-oh.
Nothing. Right. So, and I'm starting my bartending company, guys. Like I'm telling y'all real stories. You can judge me if you want. So the company I work for, which had a CRM to it, and I was creating my own CRM. So guess what I use? Constant Contact. Why? Because I saw that they were using it and it worked for them. So I didn't reinvent the wheel. I just modeled what
Mm-hmm.
worked
It's
for the
already working.
company and the customers that I wanted to attract.
Mm-hmm.
And the easy part of it, guys, all right, and this is why I say give yourself permission to do exactly what you said you want to do. Because so many times people go, oh, I can't do that. And the question I ask people is, why not? And they go, oh, they won't let me. How do you know? Did you ask? Did you try? And people are so scared to step on toes when they become business owners that they miss the opportunities to build a funnel. Y'all are missing it. So I built relationships, and let me give y'all a little strategy if you're in your 9 to 5 and you're looking to transition, because we got to get out of here, guys. I'm gonna say this, and we're gonna start wrapping it up. If you're not building relationships wherever you are, whether it's at your job or in your business,
Mm-hmm.
then what happens is you miss the opportunity to get the benefit of that relationship. Okay.
True. Mm-hmm.
So while I was at my 9 to 5, I built relationships with my bosses. I built relationships with staff. I built relationships, and listen, I even did this. Some people are like, "Oh, I can't do that." I was telling them that I was eventually going to be a business owner, but I wanted to learn from them. Some people are like, "I can't say that to my boss. I can't say that to." That's fine, but building relationships allows you, and this is every job, guys. So it's not like one particular job. I did this at every job I had. Okay. Building relationships, see who could be by my side, see who could support, who I could look up to and say, hey, how can I learn that? And what ended up happening was when I left for my bartending company, before I left, I asked my boss if I could reach out to some of the customers. I have a bartending company. I want to see if I can work with them. Is that going to be okay? He was like, yeah, who care? Do you think he realized what I was talking about? Do you think he realized the depth of what I was saying?
I
No.
don't think so.
But there was nothing in contract. And this is how you guys do it, because some people go, oh, I don't want to bother people, or I don't want it to look a certain way. Well, guess what? People are going to look at you that way anyway. They're going to say, you're this. They're going to say you're that. They're going to talk about you anyway.
So
So,
give them a reason to talk about you.
yeah, they're going to talk about you. So use your resources to your advantage. And if you guys aren't collecting ABC, always be collecting information from people who are interested in you as a brand, then you're already behind the game of lead generation, which is pretty much what we're talking about here. How do you get money? You get leads. How do you get leads? You have to build relationships, and you have to have the software and systems in place. All right, I'll end there. If you guys need support, make sure you reach out to myself. Always in my DMs. TC, please tell them what you have to offer. I think you have an offer right now and how they can get in.
Okay, so I have a workshop coming up on the 28th, on Thursday, 28th, 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. It's the Key Performance Indicator Beginners Workshop, the KPI Beginners Workshop. But basically, we're going to be deep diving. I'm going to be showing you the behind the scenes of how you can figure out what's working, what's not working in your business, and how you can use what you currently have to make profitable decisions for your business, regardless of where you currently are. So that's basically what we're going to be doing. All my workshops are usually interactive and very implementational. So you just want to make sure that you are able to block that time and be present as much as possible. Now, if you're interested in the workshop, it's a 2-hour workshop. If you're interested in it, all you need to do is DM me the word KPI or email me at TC at TC Business Solutions, right? Or just send me a message on LinkedIn, send me a message on Instagram, whatever social media channel, okay? I'm happy to connect with you and send you the access link as well. All right, I will see you all next week.
Thank you, CC. All right, guys, make sure you connect and ask your questions. We will definitely come back next week to answer them. Also, I appreciate all of you guys who have reached out and just supported the live stream, especially on LinkedIn. Shout out to y'all. Okay. We definitely love to show you guys recaps and clips, so stay tuned for that throughout the week as well. I also want to say, too, when you mentioned this workshop that you're doing, TC, I encourage people to really, really start focusing and getting into these spaces of learning. There are too many people that, are in a space where right now you can be moving in a direction to make the money, to get the leads, to build the business. But because of the stagnation, because of the lack of deciding, because of whatever overwhelm is taking over, you're not moving. And so I'm giving you permission to move. Okay. Move today, get in the DMs, talk to TC, even if it's just, hey, I got a question, and start actually betting on yourself more. There's just too much to life, to living, for you to be stagnant and not moving forward in what you want to do. These are things that you want to do. So we're going to work on that. All right. Thank you, TC, so much as per usual. We will see you guys next week.
Bye, y'all.